Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rock and Roll Union Stringcast. We got a great show for you. The guys and gal from Instinct will be with us momentarily. Just wanted to touch base on our sponsor, Rosenfeld Dental Associates, located at 1095 Inman Avenue in Edison, New Jersey. Go rock your smile with the Rock Doc. David Rosenfeld, voted one of the top dentists in Jersey for 2021. Mention Rock and Roll Union or CT and get an amazing discount upon booking that first appointment. Also, guys, it is coming up quickly. July 15th, we will be having our annual summer bash at Bar 13. Looking really forward to having everybody out. It's going to be an amazing night. Great bands, 4 awesome bands. Tickets are only $10 at the door. You can't beat it. It is 21 and up, just to let you guys know. So wanted to bring on Instinct. This is a band that has been around the block a time or two, man. You guys have been Philly staples for quite some time. And you guys are also part of the big Sic Vikki Reunion show coming up in September. Welcome, guys. Thank you for being on tonight.
Thanks for having us. Cheers.
So, to give our viewers a little bit of background info, could you tell us like how long you guys have been around? I know you guys have been around for a while, but Pat Shoemaker messaging in already saying hello. But
yo, Pat.
So, yeah, if you can give us a little background info on the band, how long you guys have been doing it.
Sir, we've been together. I think we've been together since about 1987 or 88, somewhere around there. That's a long time.
It's always been the same 3. I mean, the same core 4.
Same core 3. But we went through our Spinal Tap years of drummers.
And our newest drummer's been with us since 1991.
Oh, he's the new guy.
Yeah, it's not pulling up yet.
He's on vacation in the woods somewhere with his camper. He said he was going to try and get a signal to call in. But I have a feeling that's not going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
That's Johnny Callan. And by the way, I'm Paul Adler. And this is
Russ Fryman.
And this is
Harry Downey Fryman.
And the scene has changed. Like, I grew up in the scene. My parents were booking agents back in the late 80s, early 90s. So about the same time that you guys were running around in the beginning. Another hello for you guys from Vinny.
Hey, Vinny.
okay, Mr. Mouse.
But what can you guys tell me, and what do you think the difference is between playing back when you guys started as opposed to now?
There's nothing now. There was a scene. I mean, when we were doing it back then, I mean, we were at the tail end of what was like the golden era of live music in Philadelphia, and not just Philadelphia, but across the nation. You had live venues with original rock, and there's really not a lot of that now. I mean, let's be honest. Mm-hmm. There were probably 5 to 6 clubs in the Philadelphia area alone. And the biggest was probably the Empire, followed by the Galaxy. And you saw national acts come in. Poison played the Empire Rock Club, for crying out loud. I believe I remember Metallica being there, and I think I was in the parking lot because I couldn't get in. But
Joan Jett played the Empire.
See?
Yeah.
There were clubs where original bands were cultivated and came along, and original music was really important. And some of the bands that came out of our scene are bands that people that listen to the show would probably know, like Bon Jovi, Heaven's Edge, Cinderella, and Britney Fox. And you could even dive into the Philly rock scene, which was thriving right alongside it. You had Robert Hazard and the Heroes, and the Hooters, and the A's, and all these bands became national acts. And there is none of that now. There is none of that cultivation. There's none of that nurturing that goes on. But there's no record business to support that. And the record companies were the ones that fed off of this breeding ground in each city, these little breeding grounds of clubs and music stations that did this, and it's not there anymore. I'm not trying to sound bitter or anything like that. It's just, it is what it is. And we're like a cockroach. We just keep going.
Well, and I think now it's better. It's okay to be a girl. Like back in those days, being a girl in a band was tough. It was really tough.
Yeah.
We were marginalized.
Yeah, we were like only one of maybe 2 or 3 bands in that circuit at the time. Now you see a lot of female singers, but especially over the last 10 years, a lot more female-based bands. So which is great. And I think it's helping us now. It's kind of weird because now it seems like even though there's not much of a scene, we're getting more calls for us. A lot of it's last minute, but hey, we'll play anywhere, and it's just kind of neat because before we'd be back in the day, we'd be struggling, calling people, begging for shows, and now it's like they're kind of okay. Oh, somebody's calling us for shows. Are we all free? Sure. Okay.
Something that would take about 3-4 days now takes about 15 minutes.
Right.
Now, going back to what you guys brought up, which was a great topic, as far as being marginalized for having that female front. Now, right now seems to be like a really like a gold rush as far as female singers are concerned. There's so many amazing bands right now, so many new young females coming up. Was it like back in the day, would they lump you in? You had to sound like Joan Jett, or you had to sound like this other female. And if you had your own sound, it was kind of like they looked past you. Did you guys did it feel like that back then?
I don't think it did. I mean, I know that we heard murmurs in the background. I remember hearing things, but we just did our damn thing. And lucky for us, there were a couple guys in the business that liked us. Right. And one of them was Tommy Tunes from Gypsy Rose, who's now in Texas doing his own thing. Tom Gillum. And he took a shine to Instinct, and he put us on with bands like Gypsy Rose and put us on with Street Talk and stuff like that, which these were some of the bands that were starting to blossom at the end of the era for us. And it was great. I mean, we got to play with Tom Kiefer and his pickup band, which was basically most of the guys from Gypsy Rose at the Galaxy. I think it was 1992. And just to be able to sit at a time when, Cinderella they weren't at the pinnacle of their success, but they were certainly very popular. And to sit in the dressing room with Tommy and with to sit there and just be regular people and have a beer was kind of nice. You know what I mean? And it was like that a lot. We played with Britney Fox. We played with a lot of bands that were either had done it or were burgeoning in that scene. And I guess we were like on the B list. I don't know, but we did get shopped to Atlantic and Geffen Records, and we had a promoter. His name was John Pateri, and he was a great guy.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember John.
And I think one thing that people kind of look past, and it was amazing because you bring up all these amazing artists that came from this area that we all kind of grew up with, as far as Cinderella or Bon Jovi or, Springsteen up in Asbury Park. Yeah. But Delaware Avenue in Philly could really have given Sunset Strip a run for its money. I mean, there was so many clubs, so much music going on at the time that I don't think Philly got the recognition for the East Coast sound as much as the Sunset Strip did for the West Coast. What do you guys think?
Totally. I mean, so Russ and I started out in like 1982 in junior high school learning instruments. And as the years went by and we needed a place to rehearse, as we had cars, because we couldn't play in somebody's basement anymore because we were not two kids, so we were progressing out of that at the house thing. Now I have my own house, I can do what I want. But we were going down to RPM Studios on Delaware Avenue, and we were running into these people that were going into the warehouse and having band practice, and it's like, oh well, yeah, Chaka Khan's downstairs or whatever was going on half the time you were in RPM. There was something crazy going on there. I mean, and that was on Delaware Avenue. That was the place to be, and that was in the beginning of it. What was it, like 1985, 86 when we were doing rehearsal in there? Yeah. When we were trying to find a singer, and
they had a guy.
We had a guy singer.
And
it didn't last too long.
It was awful.
And then we found Terry.
That usually happens when they're awful.
Yeah, there were a lot of posers back in the day. So we had a couple of singers. We had a singer in a band for like 4 months who never sang a note, but we'd go out with him all the time.
Oh yeah, he was. Oh my God.
He had a lot.
He was a Tukey magnet, as one of our friends used to say.
Tukey magnet.
But that's why we love our band originally.
Paul, you had brought up the issue of record labels and things along those lines not being around anymore. Do we chalk it up as basically no labels, or is there something else that you guys see now that you guys are veterans and the young bands? There's in this area, it seems few and far between as far as young blood is concerned. Is there something else at play? Maybe cell phones or internet usage or something else. Is there anything else that you guys see as far as the scene going the way it did?
Well,
streaming.
Yeah, streaming and the internet, I think, are the two biggest death nails. I mean, think about when you were a kid. You looked forward to getting that record.
Yep.
You bought the record. You put the record on. You looked at the liner notes. You studied it like it was a piece of gospel from the gods. And I don't think people pay attention to stuff like that anymore. And there was also this mythology about music and musicians. Mm-hmm. You got Hit Parader magazine, and you got 16, you got Rolling Stone, or whatever your vice was. For me, it was everything and all of the above. And you didn't see these people move until you saw them on stage. And then finally, you had MTV, which you got to see them move a little bit and do stuff, but nothing beats seeing them in person. But now everything's right there. It's easily accessible and easily dismissible, all in that same sentiment.
Yeah, I can remember sitting outside of the Spectrum down in Philly waiting to get a ticket.
Hell yeah. Yep.
You waited in line, and that was an experience and an event.
And you met people, and you hung out, and you got to meet all these cool people. And a lot of them were musicians hanging out to get the next ticket. So, that's not happening now.
I think that the problem today is there is a plethora of music out there, but there's so many different sources to get it from. You don't know where to start. And we run into a lot of young bands. Paul's runs into a young band. And, where do I go to find these bands? That's why I think a good club can step up and really support these up-and-coming acts, because that will give everybody a outlet or a place to find these bands, rather than going, do I check Spotify? Do I check Apple Music? Do I check, whatever streaming service I'm on? How do you find these bands? Unless you have put out that one hit that catches on, and you're only doing one song at a time. There's no real albums anymore.
And that's funny, because that's kind of like where I geared Rock and Roll Union when I started, was because I started it off as just like a rock fans place to go. But then I started, the more I got into it, the more I heard, like, I couldn't play cover songs because I didn't have the copyright. So I started going to the original bands, and the more I got with the original bands, the more I was like knee deep in seeing what you guys go through. And it's a labor of love. You guys really, I'm talking original bands in general. You guys make like almost nothing when you go play out. and like it's a labor of love. I mean, you guys are your own roadies. You guys carry the equipment yourselves. You get there for sound, or if there is a sound check, like 2-3 hours before you're on stage, and sometimes, unfortunately, and I've been there when it's happened, there maybe 5 people show up.
Oh yeah.
It's is there a way of fixing it, do you think? Is there a way of like what needs to happen for the next generation?
You need a physical package of something to sell that somebody wants. That there's no replacing that. And the recent increase in album sales and CD sales is proof of that. So if you can give somebody something tangible to hold on to, they don't forget it. You always remember that first record you got, or that first Matchbox car, or whatever it is that you have in life that you love, and you treasure it. People need to treasure the music.
Yep.
It's not a throwaway thing. If it's on the cloud, you downloaded it and it's gone. You forgot about it. Oh yeah. Oh, a year later, I think I found it. Oh yeah, I downloaded that. I bought it 3 times. You know, there's no replacing that tangible piece of music.
To me, the silver lining in the whole gray cloud is that vinyl sales are at the highest it's been in decades. Right? People are rushing to buy vinyl, and not just old vinyl, but new vinyl. People, I just read with Megadeth dropping the new single this past week that they're releasing their new album on cassette. I don't think I've seen a cassette in years.
Yeah, I got them. I still got my old cassette, my old dual auto reverse cassette player.
I have a Walkman.
I use cassettes on my podcast every week. Every week we play stuff through that, because I can't play copyrighted material just the same as you. And last week we got silenced in part of our show, and I didn't listen back to the whole thing yet, so I don't know if it was the stuff we were playing from Sic Vikki, or if it was I had Kiss on in the background very low and stuff like that. But I usually try to pick stuff that's live. And usually the live music doesn't trip the copyright for some reason. I don't know why, but
you get 20 seconds to play before you got to pay.
And then you get pay or something.
But also getting the word out. So thanks to shows like you, and where people can find out who we are, and pique some interest, and that's all part of it. Just the whole different world of getting out the word.
When you were talking more about girls started, it's better now, and it is for women. But it's still, when we play out, mostly males when we play.
We did the one all-female showcase.
The one all-female showcase we did down the fire. But, it's great to see females out there doing it. And like Paul said, you need that. Like, I just went through some T-shirts today. I have the first time Kiss did a farewell tour, I found my shirt. When Ace and Peter were still in the band, it's just, it's crazy. You love that stuff, and I can't part with it yet.
So like what I think goes on today with a lot of bands, and I see this with my son, because he's in a band, they're called Studweiser. What they do is a bunch of bands get together and put a show together and then approach a club, much like what we do with Rat Rod a lot of the times.
Right.
They played the Grape Street Pub in Philly this past weekend, and they apparently had a really good show, and I missed it because I was out scouting a club for my cover band. But that's how shows get put together. It's a collaborative event, and the bands work together, and the camaraderie is very cool. Like back in the day, there was a lot of everybody stood and watched. Like most of the people that were there, they weren't there to see you. They were there to critique you and tell you how they could do it better, or not tell you, tell the guy next to them or the gal next to them.
Especially if I gained a little bit of weight, I would hear it. And we didn't have social media back then, so you just heard about it. And then, oh, look at her, she lost weight. It's just like, thanks, it's not why I'm here.
Now, as far as you guys being on, wanted to touch briefly on the Sic Vikki reunion. It was an idea that was packaged basically as like all the bands, all the people from back in the day celebrating Sic Vikki, because you guys all were out at about the same time. And aside from Monte Carlo, which is a fairly new band, but Damien's been on the scene forever.
Yeah.
Is how do you guys feel about that upcoming show? What are you guys hoping will come across from you guys?
I think it's gonna be fun. I mean, we got Instinct back together from doing reunion shows over the years, and only like in the last year and a half we've been playing more and more. Just be once every year or every other year. But this should be good because it's a lot of the old. We played with Sic Vikki a lot back in the day, back at that Hot Plums, Velvet Lounge, Greg Garter,
Union Station.
Yeah, yeah. So we, it's kind of like reliving the age. I might bring some aqua with me, just for the fun of it. But it should. I'm looking to have fun. Expose ourselves to some new people maybe, but I'm just looking to have a good time.
I'm looking to play with some people that I haven't seen in a long time, and maybe people that come out that we haven't seen for a long time either. So that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping it's almost like a homecoming for a lot of people.
It would be great.
Well, I heard somebody describe the Motley Crue Stadium tour this weekend as a high school reunion, which I didn't go to because I already went and saw them for the final
tour.
Yeah, right.
And then meanwhile, I heard it was awesome. And I saw a video from it now. I'm really bummed that I didn't go. But everybody was there and everybody was having like just memory lane in between sets, and that's what I'm hoping this will be like.
Mm-hmm.
I think it will be, and it's kind of cool because a bunch of the people in Vicky they're just ex-bandmates of mine and people I knew in college and all kinds of crazy stuff. It's just wild.
So, and I'm going back to Instinct a little bit. I wanted to talk a little bit about the music. Anything new coming out from you guys, or are you guys currently writing anything, things along those sorts?
We're always writing. We're never completing. That's a good part. It takes us a long time to put a song together for some reason. We used to crank the tunes out really fast. Mm-hmm. But, we also had band practice twice a week, every week. And now we're squeezing it in between life and other bands. So I think we're going to probably have a new tune for that show, maybe two. I'm being optimistic.
I hope for two.
As far as new stuff, like music packages and stuff like that, we really need to sit down as a group and figure out what we want to do and put some money behind it and put together a package with some stuff on it. And I think we should go in the studio and record some stuff. But we haven't put any of that on paper yet. So the answer to that is current is nothing. We might have some t-shirts.
So I got to ask you, this is going to be one of my last questions for you guys, but coming up on, you guys have been together, for 30 plus years now. Favorite memories of the band? It could be from 30 years ago, more recent, whatever. Like, what are some of your favorite memories of the band?
So many. I could say hanging out with Jeff LaBar at the Red Garter.
That was cool.
That was very cool.
Kiefer coming to the Red Garter, playing the Trocadero.
Yeah,
playing the Trocadero.
I mean, the thing, whenever I think about the old days, and, the thing I picture is myself standing on stage next to Terry, Russ is on the other side, within like 3 feet, we're always together on stage, and then drummer du jour, and being at the cell block. That's where I picture myself standing. I'm always picturing myself at the cell block. I think I knew that around 92 that the world was changing, and obviously it was because of Nirvana and things like that. And I began to become very nostalgic for a 20-something-year-old and realizing that if we didn't make it soon, this was going to be the end of the road for that. And it became real. And it was emotional at times to be on stage because the cell block was the last one, really.
It was.
And then it was over because the Garter had burned down and RT's had closed and the Galaxy was gone and the Empire was gone and Hot Plums was gone and the Velvet was just doing cover bands and it was different. So, and Bonnie's was gone at that point too.
Bonnie's, I remember the pole. The pole of the stage. It was always good for a girl, And I know I see Funhouse there a lot too. And they were great. Cindy was great. Cindy's great. She still is great.
Man, and my last question for you guys is, as far as, we talked a lot about the old clubs. There are some newer, or some clubs or bars that have been around for a long time, still repping that live music, still repping the original scene. I got to give it up to Chris from the Nail. I know there's as far as you guys, could you give us a list of like some of the places people could go to check out original music?
The Fire.
The Fire,
Down in Philly.
Bar 13, which you know about.
Yep.
The Nail. We were playing this place in Warminster for a while. I don't even know if they're doing bands with a Red Stallion. I think, are they?
Are they?
I don't know who's booking.
But and also even down the street, Screwballs. They've been hosting the Original Thursdays every once in a while. And we play with a couple national acts there, like national lower level acts, but
but still,
it's great. I mean, all sorts of great people. But the Nail, actually, I give props to. It was like the first time we went back in the Nail, it was kind of like, this place gives Dive Bar a bad name, and they really upped their game, with how they're recording. Yeah, they're great.
And the people that work there are awesome. They're so appreciative of the people that come in to see these bands, and it's just a great deal. I have to definitely give them props for that.
Yeah, and also the Fire downtown, so down in Fishtown, they're super supportive of all the local
Very
bands.
supportive.
And you get such a wide mix of bands in one night there. It's kind of crazy.
But people come in. They come in. They hang out.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what's the attendance like in the Fire?
The Fire was good.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually, I was surprised, especially being in a city location with limited parking and whatnot.
Parking.
It was great.
It was actually really cool.
But if you're listening and you want to book us, contact me. InstinctRock@hotmail.com. That's InstinctRock@hotmail.com.
That is not a bad thing, man. So I mean, it seems to be a close knit. Like we talked about how it was kind of backstabbing back in the day, and like when my parents were running their business, I saw it firsthand. I was a teenager back then, but I was close enough to the business to see how people talk crap on everybody else, or try and up each other as far as the gig is concerned. Money was a big thing back then, but now, because of the way things have been, it's like a family. Everybody knows everybody in the scene now. Like you mention one person and everybody knows who they are. And I think that's a good testament to what we've become. But I think that there's more that we need to do. What do you guys think?
I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I even see it in the younger bands. When I go to my son's shows and I see the bands together and they're just goofing around and having fun and drinking beers or whatever it is they're doing. And they're all supportive of each other. There's always the one douche band that they leave as soon as they're done.
Yeah.
But for the most part, everybody's there. And I can tell you, when I play a gig, I'm probably one of the first people in the building, and I'm probably next to the last one to leave, if not the last one.
Yeah.
I try to put my mark on every show that we do, whether it's getting somebody to help me bring sound in, and Mike Calmia from Old School helps out the band a lot, and brings in lights and sound for us. Whatever we can do to make it an event, not just another night of some blasé music, malaise stuff, make it have a little pop. And I think September 23rd at Union Fire Hall?
Union Fire Hall, yes.
In Medford, New Jersey or something like that. No?
Mount Laurel?
Mount Laurel.
Have you guys been to the venue yet? Have you guys been in that venue yet?
Have not. We're going to venture over sometime soon and check
it
it
is
out.
A kick-ass venue. This is the first time that I've had anything professionally to do with the place, but it's a cool venue because it's an old firehouse that they turned into a music place, a music venue, and they still have the fire doors. Summertime, they'll lift them up, and they got like stuff going on outside. It's a really cool place.
Awesome.
I like that.
Check it out.
Yeah, and along one side of the wall is just the bar, and then the stage is really decent. So I wouldn't say it's not really a bar, but it is a cool venue. It's something different, which is nice.
That's awesome. Hopefully we'll get to come back some more and do some more shows, because
We definitely have some Jersey peeps that would like to see us on that side of the bridge.
Yeah.
I spoke to one of them the other day.
Now, as far as you guys are concerned, any upcoming gigs? What's the next couple of shows for you guys?
This is the show.
Yeah, we had one. We had
a
one.
bunch of stuff that got whacked for various reasons. We were going to do some national act shows, and the band couldn't tour. So
Probably because of the price of gas.
I don't know, but whatever it was, they're not coming. And a couple other little shows that fell apart, because that's what happens with this stuff. It's you're cobbling stuff together. And one of the places that we were talking about has canceled their original night. So that took 2 shows away from us right there.
Man.
So
and I also want to tell the viewers that also tonight, if you want to see Paul again, Paul's podcast is this evening. What time do you go live? 8:30, am I right?
8:30 on Podbean. The P word. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
Keep asking. It's technically not even my show, but it's fine.
Now you can find that on. Now I know because I've listened to it. It is on Spotify, but how do people go about finding it online?
You can go to my webpage on Facebook, and there's a link there, I believe, to the P word. Everything's on Facebook or on podbean.com. But we are on Facebook, and that's where we reside.
Then you do a Facebook Live event?
And we do a Facebook Live event. So tonight, my show the show will be simulcast over my Facebook page.
Nice.
And that's it's Paulie Adler Rocks or something. I don't know.
Now, do you run with like a certain topic every week, or you just kind of just wherever it goes?
It is a show about absolutely nothing.
That's
we
great.
Get together, 2 guys, we get together and we open the gates up and let people call in and whatever, and we just see where it takes us. Now, you might hear Chicken Man. We'll play an episode of Chicken Man. I like that. We might do the news. We might just sit there and argue with each other. We might talk about local things happening in King of Prussia, our fair city. It varies from show to show, and it might include all of that, and you might even hear a toilet flush. I don't know. It's
That's
just
awesome.
an insane, stupid show about nothing.
Man. But guys, thank you so much for hanging tonight. Don't want to keep you guys all night. I know you got stuff to do, but really looking forward to September 23rd, and looking forward to hanging with you guys next time I see you. So, guys, have a great rest of your week. Thank you.
You too.
See ya.
Bye.
So, guys, that was Instinct, man. I told you they have been around the block for a long time, and much appreciation for them coming on today. Like I said, don't forget, July 15th is our big summer bash. We did jam at the beach, jam at the shore. Didn't happen this year down at the shore. So we changed the venue to Bar 13. Really, really looking forward to it. You got Moonroof. You got Level Eye, unfortunately had to pull out. You got Moonroof. You have Hammer Sheep. Last year I did a song with them on my birthday. We'll see what happens this year. Come out. You're going to have to come out and see. We also have, forgive me, guys. I got so much on my mind. But looking at that lineup, I also know that you guys have, like I said, bear with me a moment, guys. My apologies. You got Psychedelic Elders. How could I forget about them? Griff, Joe, and the boys, man. Really, they'll be kicking off the show. Baba Boom from New York City. Robbie Valentine and Baba Boom. Looking forward to that. Moonroof, if you haven't checked them out yet, you're going to want to be there. And Hammer Sheet, man. So really good stuff. And make sure you guys check out all the stuff that's going on the Rock and Roll Union page, both Facebook and YouTube. Give us a like on YouTube. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. We dropped our review this past week on Bob Marley's album Exodus on vinyl siding. This coming Saturday, we will be diving headfirst into a career retrospect on the Beach Boys, guys. We're going to be talking the Beach Boys probably for a couple of weeks, man. There's so much involved with them and so much great music to discuss. And that about does it. Next week, we're going to be joined by another band that is part of that Sic Vikki show. A lot of stuff to touch base with. That being Rat Rod, our boys in Rat Rod. It's been a while since we've talked, and really looking forward to having them guys on the show again next week. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Be kind to each other. And remember, until next time, don't just leave it better. Have a great night, guys.